Is the market crash finally happening that the no names trolls have been discussing online for the last few years? Not so fast, my friends. Hey, everybody, it's Rob, Homes by Rob Denny, HomeSmart Realty West, here with your April 2024 housing market report. We're going to cover all San Diego County, and then I will move up to the North County coastal area, which to me is Oceanside 92054 down to Del Mar. So let's just dive right in, folks, and take a look at the numbers. And the first thing we're going to look at is San Diego County all detached homes. And detached homes, there were 2,188 listings. That is down 3%. There were 1,871 new listings. That is up 15.5%. Days on market was at 24, which is up 21%. That's still a really, really low number, though. Regular market would be around 45. And the median price for detached homes, $1,075,000. That's up 12% over April of 2023. Percentage of original list price received was at 101.2. That is plus 0.9% compared to last April. Now let's take a look at all their attached homes for San Diego County. There were 1,017 listings. That is up 23%. There were 743 new listings, which is up 3%. Days on market was at 22, and the median price was $680,000. On other attached homes throughout the county, that is up 6.3% compared to April of last year. And the percentage of list price received was at 100.7. Now let's move over to North County coastal area and look at Oceanside 92054 down to Del Mar. First thing we'll look at is detached homes. For detached homes, we had 261 listings, up 2%. With new listings, we had 182. On the coast, that is up 6%. Days on market was at 20, which was down from 23. And the median price for detached homes on the coast, $2,159,000. That is up 6% compared to April of last year. Percentage of list price received was at 99.2. That's actually up 1.4. Take a look at all their attached homes on the coast. There were 160 listings. That's up 26%. New listings were 130. That's up 33%. Days on market was at 20, which is up 15%. That's still a very low number. And the median price was actually down 6.5% for all their attached homes on the coast, $1,109,000. Still a big number. Percentage of list price received, as you can see, was just under 100%. So what do all these numbers mean? Well, I want to dive into a couple of things here. I'm going to be talking about detached homes on the coast and staying up Oceanside down Del Mar. First, I want to point out days on market is super low and about every single market throughout the county. It is, which is a strong indicator still a seller's market. Let's take a look at price decreases though. In a normal market, price decreases, 34% of homes will have a price decrease. As you can see along the coast, Long Beach had 75%, which at first glance seems like a huge number in a crashing market, right? But when I looked a little closer at the numbers for Long Beach, only had 7 sales in April, and a couple of them were fixer-uppers. Now, April compared to April last year, the prices were down 20%, but like I said, there are a couple fixers in there. But if you look at the whole 12-month average, Long Beach home prices, single-family homes, are up 12.6%. And the average days on market were at 19, which is so low. So the 12-month average is 41, which is a more normal number for Long Beach. But the fact that they're at 41 for the past 12 months and the sales are still strong. And look over Del Mar. They have a little bit higher price decreases at 46%. But the prices were actually up this year, in this April, compared to April of last year, at $3.7 million compared to 3,335,000 last year. That's a 10% increase. And the prices for the year have increased 9.7%. So the market's not hurting by any means. In fact, days on market are 26 for Del Mar in April, but only 34 for the past 12 months. And that's a really low number for the high-end prices like Del Mar. Pretty much the same for Encinitas too. Price decreases were down or higher, but prices went up again. They went up by 4.7%. However, Encinitas is down 3.4% for the last 12 months. Their days on market continue to be low, which means things are still flying off the market. 22 days in April, 26 days for the last 12 months. One thing I will point out about these two is even though they've had higher price reductions, none of them were huge. Encinitas came in at 98.4% original list price received. Del Mar was at 95.8%, and Solana Beach was at 96.1%. In a normal market, you're going to usually see about 95 to 96% for original list price received. So one thing all these numbers tell us, though, is that if you look at the rest of them, they're all pretty much on par. What we'd expect in the 30s in a more normal market. But make no mistake, things have changed. A couple years ago, none of these homes had price decreases. In fact, most had way higher increases, up to 50% or more of the homes that sold went for over list price. And they were only on the market for a few days, and they got a bunch of offers and bidding wars. So to see these getting back to more normal market, hopefully means we're going to get a little bit better market here as we go on. But for example, Del Mar only had 8 homes with the price increase in April. And Encinitas only had 4, and Carlsbad 9209 had 3. None of the others had a price increase. So, as you saw, all of them had price decreases. So that's something that we could keep an eye on. I'll be keeping an eye on to inform you on. Another thing I want to talk about, though, is the Market Action Index. Market Action Index in an even market is at 30. That means there's nobody has a buyer or a seller has an advantage if it's at 30. Well, look at this chart. As you can see here, sellers still have a huge advantage. 92010 in Carlsbad, 72. That is ridiculous. And even so, many in the 40s, that's still way too high. The only ones that are getting close to even are Del Mar and Solana Beach. Now, these are all single-family homes I'm talking about on the coast. This not includes all San Diego County or all their attached homes. If you want a report of any report in any market, just let me know. Shoot me a text or an email, and I'm happy to do a report for you. But as you can see, we've still got a ways to go. Even though Solana Beach, Del Mar are close, all the rest of them are still real high, which means we need more inventory to get the Market Action Index to come back to more normal. And that's going to help make it a more buyers and sellers market, even it up. But again, I will say, a couple years ago, all these numbers were in the 80s and 90s, which is nuts. So we have been coming down to trying to get to a little bit more of a normal market. So the market has shifted over the last couple of years, but we're still not even close to a normal market. It's still a seller's market. You've got to remember that San Diego is so unique, and I've said this 1,000 times. That's why all I really care about is San Diego. I don't do a lot of national stuff because there's nothing else in the United States like San Diego. Between Camp Pendleton to our north, Mexico to our south, there's very little spaces to build, so new construction's not coming to bail us out. So it's going to be resale that's going to bail us out, or at least get us back to a more normal market, and that's going to take a while, especially at the high interest rates. But I also think because things have been so low, there are people that are going to need to move. More people are going to need to move this year. So even with the locked in low interest rates be so high, that's a whole nother conversation we could have. In fact, I'm going to do a video about that. Because if you've got 3 kids and you're a 2-bedroom house and you plan on moving 2 years ago, you don't have a lot of choices. Or if you're at the end of the road, I mean, I'm getting older myself, and you need a smaller house, it's time to move. So there's a lot of people that have been holding on to their home way longer than they planned. But there's just so much weird stuff going on too. I just saw on CNBC Squawk Box, which I like to watch in the morning when I'm getting ready, go to the gym, drinking my coffee. And they reported that Warren Buffett has been dumping stocks left and right. And they were saying they wonder if he knows something we don't, or the rest of the country doesn't. Because, I mean, the guy is so smart, right? He already has $175 billion in cash. He's planning on selling more stock to get up to $200 billion in cash. So what the market does crash, stock market I'm talking about, is that going to put the economy in tailspin? It may. But is that going to affect our San Diego market? I don't think so, for all the reasons I just told you. So we'll just have to wait and see, and I'll keep an eye on that too. Just watch for my reports. Meantime, that pretty much wraps up this month. As I've said all along, though, there's no crash coming. Please don't listen to trolls out there that put up stuff with no idea about what they're talking about. They never back anything for statistics. It's all clickbait crap. Just follow my videos or another real estate agent's videos that is local that will tell you about this market. So that's it. Still getting up early in the mornings, going to LA Fitness, walking my dogs on the beach. I think my Padres are going to be all right this year. A little excited, but I know better to get too excited with them. But need a little more pitching, but Sarai's kid's a big pickup. So we'll see what happens. And still playing tennis and pickleball. Hopefully I'll see you on one of the courts soon. But I hope you're all doing wonderful. And if you need anything, please do not hesitate to call, text, or email. I'm here to work. Love to help you. Free consultation anytime. That's going to do it. I hope you're well, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.